it's so much of our responsibility to put things on. Not a lot of touring acts come through Missoula. It's like off the beaten path, so we kind of have to make the market for ourselves.
The music scene was amazing, wonderful, and kind of always has been since I've been involved. It's definitely ebbed and flowed in terms of places to play and kind of, where and how you can pull an event off. But that's also pretty consistent with how it's always been. But the amount of amazing musicians and songwriters and singers and bands in Missoula has always just been great.
My name is Donal Lakatua. I've lived in Missoula my whole life. I'm a music and events photographer. I kind of focus a lot on like punk and rock and roll and hardcore and stuff like that. Yeah, it was like mainly a way to like connect with people too, and also like offer something afterwards.
Donal.
Yeah, Donal.
Oh, Donal.
Donal Lakatua.
Donal. Yeah, Donal Lakatua. Great guy. He's we call him a bunch of names. Like I call him the scene queen just because it rhymes the smoothest. But basically, he's just like the fundamental driving force behind like what artistically gets attention in Missoula.
Carrying the scene on his shoulders with one flash at a time. We brought him on our first tour that we did back in the summer of 22 and had a really great time with him, bebopping around the PNW. I'm Seamus Jennings. I am the lead guitarist and producer for Cosmic Sands.
Cole Bronson, and I'm the drummer.
Jake Howell. I'm the singer.
Lane Olberg. I am the bassist of Cosmic Sands.
My name's Will Stoskoff. Most of the guys in the band probably call me Stos. A lot of people call me Stos. I play guitar in the band, mainly. I do a couple other things, but that's the main thing I do. Jake and I's mutual friend, Kyler, they both wanted to start like a psychedelic rock band. And they asked if I would play like lead guitar, Jake would play like rhythm and sing, and then Kyler would play bass. And then Kyler was in the music school and he met a lot of musicians through that. And I saw Seamus, I didn't know who he was, and he was playing the guitar. I was like, oh, wait, I just got replaced. I'm not even in this band anymore. They just got this guy. I shouldn't be doing this. He's so much better than I am. And I showed up like right in the middle of them playing, so I just kind of sat in the corner for like 20 minutes, just like not really sure what was going on. And I was expecting them to be like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. But then they were like, no, like you should stick around. Well, Jake was like, I don't know if I'll like play guitar anyways.
At the time, I was going to play rhythm guitar. Stos was already part of the group, and he was going to play lead guitar. So like, we don't really want another guitarist. But we got Chris on the drums, and Seamus came by just because he was Chris's friend and like started playing guitar. And we were like, all right, yeah, I'm probably not going to play guitar then. I think Seamus should probably be the one playing guitar here, which I think was a very good call. But yeah, it sort of was like I don't know, I don't think everyone took it super seriously until we got Cole and Lane in the group and had a sort of like sound and dynamic change in the group. We all started like figuring out what all of our like slots were and like, filling roles a lot more. So it feels like two different bands almost.
Since you're kind of busy in Uri, I was gonna float the idea of giving Lane a mic and doing your part.
What? That's crazy.
So Stos is doing a lot of stuff in the part where we're doing backup vocals. So I was gonna float that you do this part. It's like I feel a little love. I feel a little love. I feel a little love.
At least in terms of Montana, I think Missoula has the most like original music coming out. I think that the music scene here has always been very genuine. I think there is something special about writing and performing original music that happens a lot in Missoula that at least is different than what I've experienced in Helena. Not that I'm super well traveled and know a lot about a lot of other different places, but that's what makes the Missoula music scene special to me, at least, is all the original ideas. It's always moving and developing. You know, it's like it's never felt stagnant. You know, it's always been in development and evolution, and I think that's been really great too, because I think it's allowed the scene to kind of keep up with the times a little bit too, as like everybody's tastes evolve and change. I think the music scene kind of moves with that a little bit too.
As a photographer, it's been really nice, and that's like a theme for my whole life, is like kind of existing outside of that, and engaging with lots of different subgroups, which is I think also why it's been easy for me to connect with lots of people, and why I really like Daisy Chain, because it's in trying to like exist out of that a little bit. I don't know. And so I think that like there's been like a back and forth of feeling very collaborative and also like a little cliquey too, that, you know, has its benefits and its downsides for sure.
No, I think the Missoula music scene is robust. I think there's a little bit of everything for everyone. That being said, I do feel like it can be very, very cliquish. It can be very white-centric. White people are very much the center of the scene, especially white cis males. And I feel like there needs to be a lot more acceptance that there is room for everyone. Like, there doesn't need to be this, I feel like there is this like self-made scarcity in the Missoula music scene, and I just don't really understand it. I am Erica Lee, or Auntie E, as a lot of people know me. I'm a DJ and producer around Missoula. I definitely take my moniker very seriously. I am Auntie. I feel like I am Auntie to a lot of queer kids out here. I sometimes get asked randomly at bars of like, hey Auntie, can I ask your advice for stuff? Which I love. Come to me and ask me for anything at all. Missoula and Montana have been here for 10 years. It can feel very insular, and it can feel very cliquish, and it can feel very outsidery, and I have had moments of feeling like that, and so I just always want to make sure I'm creating spaces where everyone feels like they can just get out and move their body, where people can just be themselves and be free to feel what they need to feel, is just something that I really just want to do and create and make anyone just feel a little less alone out here.
What is the genre of Missoula? Like, I feel like Butte has this sort of punk scene, and Billings also sort of has like a punk hardcore kind of metal scene going on. Portland has like an indie kind of psych scene going on. Missoula has like every single genre that I just mentioned and like 40 more.
But I also think that Missoula also doesn't have a lot of top-down support that I see in other cities. I shoot Tree Fort Music Festival every year in Boise, Idaho. The institutions there that are like large-scale music production are very, very open and cover like they're very vertically diverse, if that makes any sense. Like top-down, they invest so much time and money and energy into cultivating like long-lasting connections between musicians and venues and the festival itself. And I think Missoula, for it to be called the Arts Town of Montana, needs something like that, which we don't have.
After the pandemic, for a while, I think this is like the first, like that, maybe like towards the end of last year, the first year that changed. But what happened was that all the house show venues were done.
Kind of a struggle to find the kind of places that we were playing, which were like allowed the space for young bands to kind of like discover themselves through performing, which is a vital part of a band developing, is like, you know, the initial developmental phase where you play a ton and make a lot of mistakes.
It's been a minute since we played a good house show. We definitely played a lot when we were starting off. My name is Gavin McCourt, and I am one of the songwriters and singers and guitar players on the Skirts. The fun thing about house shows is the relative anarchy that occurs there, and you get, you know, a crowd that really wants to be rocking out, to have a good time, and it's such a less controlled environment than, say, a bar or, you know, a community space where you have to have people kind of watching out. There's something honest and true about house shows insofar as, you know, you get what you get. You know, the sound might not be great. You might be on a stacked bill with like 3 or 4 other bands, but, you know, people want to be there and they want to have a good time. And so they're really organic and fun in that regard.
That didn't exist. It still doesn't really exist anymore. And I think that just killed a lot of projects in town. And it made it so there was like a few years where there's no new bands. And I think only recently we're able to recover that, partly because, like, you know, Daisy Chain's putting on like a lot of events.
Recently, I started a production company called Daisy Chain Presents with one of my really good friends, Colin Merrick. And yeah, I think we've put on upwards of 30 shows, 35 shows in the last like 6 months or so.
Daisy Chain, saviors of Missoula scene in a lot of ways. And they did their first Power Strip festival this last summer, which we played at, and it was a blast, and I think people really enjoyed it. And they were talking they might be getting some more attention for next year's. Unfortunately, Cosmic Sands will probably not be around, but it would be really cool if we could get people out here to play it, because I would love to do that. But I love Daisy Chain. Love you, Daisy Chain.
I started a little queer DJ collective called The Bays, which is me and 2 other DJs, Belly Scruggs and DJ Suka, which is why we're The Bays. It's all of our DJ monikers thrown together. And we're just like a little family. We do dinners together. We are constantly making music and collaborating together, creating different events, different spaces, and it's just been a really great experience having that support and being able to support other artists as they're like coming into the scene. I think just showing up and coming out. I feel like Missoula is really good at talking a lot. I feel like Missoula does a lot of talk and not a lot of action. And words are great. Who doesn't like a compliment? But actually like showing up to like these artists that you are supporting, or you're sharing their posters on Instagram, but like actually showing up to the event, I think is the best way you can support. Also, Bandcamp. Spotify is great, but like definitely start buying music directly from artists in the area.
My favorite stuff is like the newest stuff that will probably be released, hopefully like in the fall of this year. I think it's probably, you know, the best estimate to release on that. But the new stuff is like really cool. I like it a lot.
For the future of the bands, I don't know. We'd have to see after the tour, because like my whole thing is like if something happens, they better not go anywhere. They'd be done. So I'm hoping something big clicks on tour, in the sense that like it'll sort of compel people to feel the same way I'm feeling, because I feel like we're in a really good spot right now, and I feel like the cohesiveness of the group is really tightly knit, really well organized. Our sound is very like manicured. If we have mistakes in a set, it's not like, oh, I messed up. It's like, oh, I could have played this better, sort of thing, which is cool to see that sort of progression. So I personally would hope to see that taken further and see it like the professionalism we've kind of touched on right now get fully fleshed out. I think that would be really cool to see.
I'm going to back home to Anchorage for a indefinite period of time.
I'm going back home to Portland.
Yeah. I could see us, at least coming back together, for some shows, or maybe I could see us maybe living in different places, but then putting together a tour and then getting rehearsed and then, going on the road. I think that would be fun. I just hope we keep playing with each other no matter what. Our first show of March is going to be March 8th in Bozeman. And then our tour officially starts on March 15th. We'll play the American Legion in Missoula. But then we are also playing on the 16th in Great Falls. And then the 19th, again, here in Missoula at the ZAC, which technically aren't a part of our tour. And then Shreveport Music Festival starts Wednesday the 20th. And we play on the 21st. And that is technically a part of our tour route. And then we're just on the road.
I think one of the most like defining things about Cosmic Sands is the fact that we're kind of, besides older bands like the Scurfs or stuff like that, like, Missoula staples that were Missoula staples before the pandemic. We kind of formed right before the pandemic and then weathered the storm that a lot of bands were not able to.
We've been, Dan and I in particular, since we're the two kind of founding members of the band, we've been playing 14 years now, which is like more than I ever dreamt of being in a band, for that amount of time. And we have this joke that, the Scurfs will be like a Menudo style band where once we die, somebody else will take up the music and keep it going, which I would love to see that happen. But, I just want to keep playing.
Cole Bronson really is kind of like one of the biggest, I think our friendship really saved my, I tell him, I've told him a million times, it saved my life. I think I was on like a much darker path until I like met him, and by extension was able to like get into like the underground music and arts community here. Like the whole goal with Daisy Chain was to create an organization that is sustainable for organizers, especially. In my experience of shooting, I've seen like 3 different iterations of like people starting a festival and then burning all their money on it and then like burning out and leaving or stopping it. So our goal is sustainability, absolutely. Like financial sustainability, both for us as organizers, for like paying people who run the door, paying artists for flyers, flyer designs, paying performers as best as we can, all the time. Like wanting to make something that will last a while and has like an immense potential to grow into something bigger, that I think, like, I want people to come to Missoula to be a part of it.